Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for checking out my podcast. My name's Brian Rose, and you're listening to a special sneak preview of what I'm calling The Brian Rose Show. It is Friday, February 16th, 2018, and thank you very much for taking the time to check out this podcast. Now, this isn't the first time I've done a podcast. I did one back in 2016 and 2017, but it was all over the place. I talked a little bit about politics, pro wrestling, video games, pop culture, and it really didn't have much of a focus. And because of that, I was very dissatisfied with it. I wasn't really posting things very often, and it just sounded bad. So I decided I wanted to blow the whole thing up and start from scratch, and that's what's led me to relaunch this here and now. This time around, my podcast is going to have quite a bit of focus, because what I want to do with this is present in every man's perspective on the political landscape. Now, I know what you're thinking. Here's another guy who wants to talk about politics. I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm hoping that this particular podcast is a little bit of a fresh take on it, because I want it to be a podcast where it's the perspective of somebody who actually goes out, works 40 hours a week, comes home in the evening and tries to make sense of the world, because that's where I am. I identify myself as a libertarian conservative. I'm a Christian. I tend to lean to the right on most political discussions. And I find a lot of the times when I watch the mainstream media that folks who have the same worldview that I have tend to be a bit misrepresented in the media. It's oftentimes that we're painted as evil or racist or homophobic or misogynist or whatever approved buzzword that the left wants to throw at us. And it's not all the outlets, but it's a situation where we're kind of misrepresented, and I think it's unfortunate. We tend to watch politics like we used to watch pro sports, in that most folks nowadays choose a side, either Republican or Democrat. You put on your shirt and you cheer for your Republican or Democrat senators and congressmen or president, and then you demonize the other side. And I don't want that to be, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to play those games. I want to present a perspective on politics from an average working Joe's point of view, and how it affects my life and how it affects my family and friends. That's the goal of this show. So I also, too, want to let you know that I intend to take this thing live if I can. I'm doing this through Spreaker, which I believe is a free app, but they also offer live versions and things like that you can pay for. With that said, my goal with this is to post once a week, or as often as I can. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself to meet a deadline, because I'm completely 100% independent. But with all that said, I really hope you check this out. Most of my episodes are going to be on my Facebook page. There'll be a link on my timeline whenever I post an episode. It'll automatically go to my YouTube page, which you'll find at Brian Lee Rose 1. So if you want to check me out there, and I think it's also going to put me up on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, it's at Brian Lee Rose. Anytime I post a new episode, you can go to my Twitter page, and it'll automatically tweet when I've posted one out, and it'll redirect you to my YouTube page where you can listen to it. So anyway, thank you very much for checking out my show. I hope that you get something out of it, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys. Have a good night.